My husband, Ethan Walker, has this infuriating habit. He never empties his pockets before tossing his dirty clothes in the wash. I've reminded him 1,000 times, but it never sticks. So, like always, I checked his jeans this morning before throwing them into the machine. That's when I found it. A condom. My stomach dropped. I just had a minor surgery last week and was still in recovery. We hadn't been intimate. We couldn't be intimate. So who the hell was he using condoms with? My mind raced. Ethan's a software engineer, always swamped with work. He barely has time to sleep, let alone cheat. But the truth was in my hands. I couldn't unsee it. I forced myself to stay calm. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just started planning. Tonight, Ethan came home past 11, said his boss dumped a last-minute project on him. He collapsed onto the bed and was out cold in minutes. I waited until I heard his slow, steady breathing. Then I lifted his hand and used his fingerprint to unlock his phone. First stop, WhatsApp. I was the only pinned chat. The rest were dull workgroup threads and a few news updates. No flirty messages. No emojis. Nothing. Next, I checked his Instagram. Then TikTok. Still nothing. I nearly gave up, until a notification popped up from Facebook Messenger. I hadn't even known he still used Facebook. But apparently, someone named Mike Johnson did. Curious, I tapped the chat. The profile photo was generic. A bald eagle and a flag. But the conversation? Dude, this girl's got stitches down there. Doctor said no sex for 3 months. You're gonna have to handle things for me. Haven't I been handling it enough already? My chest tightened. That bathroom thing last week? Let's do it again tonight. I've been thinking about your mouth all day. Bring those fishnets. I want to see you in them. You ripped the last pair. Be gentle this time. I couldn't sit down for 3 days. I kept scrolling, numb. Tonight's our anniversary, I whispered aloud, reading the date. While I laid in bed alone, recovering, he was sending dirty messages and buying lingerie for someone else. Can't come tonight. Deadline's brutal. You'll have to wait till tomorrow. I'll come for you then. You better. I couldn't even cry. My whole body felt hollow. How could the man who once ran through a thunderstorm at 2 a.m. to get me Advil be the same man saying this filth? Ethan, who'd climbed 1,000 stairs to a mountaintop chapel, even though he didn't believe in God, just to pray for my surgery. Was that all fake? I recorded the entire chat thread on my phone, every filthy message. Then I tucked his phone back, curled up next to him, and stared at the ceiling. 30 minutes passed. The sound of his snoring grew louder. I snapped. With all the fury in my chest, I raised my hand and slapped him across the face. He jolted awake, eyes wide. Ava! What the hell? I stared at him, eyes red. I had a dream you cheated on me. He blinked, confused, but I saw the guilt flash across his face. What? Baby, that's ridiculous. I would never... Really? I asked, voice low. Swear it. If you ever cheat on me, may you get hit by a car the second you walk out the door. He hesitated for a second too long. Then, slowly, he raised his hand. I, Ethan Walker, swear. If I ever cheat on you, may I get hit by a car and die on the spot? I smiled sweetly. Perfect. And if the car misses, I'll finish the job myself. Chapter 2, Super Glue and Secrets. The next morning, while Ethan was in the bathroom, I quietly unzipped his work bag. There it was, tucked inside the lining, a bottle of lube, a skimpy piece of lace lingerie, barely enough fabric to cover anything, and a small vibrating toy. My lips curled into a cold smile. So he was planning another night out. Well, I'd give him a night to remember. Without hesitation, I unscrewed the bottle of lube and poured in a generous amount of industrial-strength superglue. Gave it a good shake, resealed it like nothing had ever happened. You like it dirty, Ethan? Let's see how much you really enjoy pain. Around 5:45 that evening, he called. His voice was full of forced guilt. Hey babe, I'm so sorry, but the team just dumped a last-minute feature request on me. I might be stuck here real late. Don't wait up, okay? I played my part perfectly. Don't worry, honey. Just don't work yourself too hard. He sighed like a man carrying the weight of the world. You're the best, Ava. Love you. I hung up, grabbed my bag, and headed out the door. I didn't go far, just down to the Uber waiting outside. I'd timed it all perfectly. By 6:45, I was camped out in my rideshare across the street from his company building. Ethan worked on the 4th floor of a tech startup downtown. Most of the windows were dark now, except for one, an office bathroom near the end of the hall. I spotted him inside, lit up by fluorescent light, sitting on the toilet with his phone. A grin spread across his face. His lips curled like he was reading something nasty. Then suddenly, he jumped to his feet, knocked over the chair in his rush. I didn't need to guess what came next. I got out of the car and made my way into the building. My heart pounded. Anger throbbed in my chest, mixing with a strange thrill. Part of me wanted to bust down that door and slap the hell out of both of them. But I wasn't here to scream. I was here to expose. The office was nearly empty. The hallway lights flickered. Only the exit signs glowed red. When I reached the women's restroom, I paused. Voices drifted from inside, low and breathy. God, I missed these. It was Ethan. A pause. Then a female voice, sultry and familiar. Still so thirsty, huh? Doesn't your wife let you touch her? I mean, she's fine, but she's nothing compared to you. These, a pause, are perfect. My heart clenched. That voice, I knew it. No way. It was Madeline, my sister-in-law. My husband was screwing his own brother's wife. Madeline, the one Ethan always pretended to hate. The woman he never greeted at family dinners. The one he wouldn't even sit near during Christmas. Everyone thought they couldn't stand each other. Now I realized they were just hiding their guilt. I stepped closer, breath caught in my throat. Inside, Madeline giggled. You really married her just because she looked like me? Ethan grunted. Not just that. Her dad's money didn't hurt either. I clenched my fists so tight my nails dug into my palms. So that was it. I was the backup. The look-alike with a better bank account. I didn't need to hear more. But I kept listening. Because revenge always tastes better when it's slow-cooked. You brought the lube? Madeline asked. Ethan's voice grew husky. Right here. There was a pause. The sound of clothes rustling. Zippers. Moans. Groans. Then, ow, what the fuck? What is this? I don't know. Jesus, it burns. Why isn't it coming out? Don't pull, don't pull. Oh my God, I swear I'm gonna die. The panic in their voices was almost musical. I bit back a laugh. Within minutes, I saw red and blue lights flashing outside. The two of them, butt naked, glued together in a compromising position, were wheeled out of the building on a single stretcher. Faces twisted in pain and humiliation. And me? I recorded the whole thing. Welcome to hell, Ethan Walker. You brought this on yourself. Chapter 3. Family dinner and fake smiles. Ethan came home the next day looking like a ghost. Pale, sweating, walking hunched over like a man twice his age. His jaw was clenched so tight I thought it might snap. I said nothing. Just watched. Later, while he rested on the couch with an ice pack wedged discreetly between his thighs, I made a suggestion, all sweetness and innocence. Hey babe, I said, casually flipping through a magazine. Since your mom's birthday is this weekend, why don't we host dinner at our place this year? Just something simple, homemade. His face twitched. For the past few years, we'd always done fancy dinners at restaurants. But his mom had recently complained about the overpriced, greasy buffet food and missed real family meals. This time, she happily agreed. That sounds perfect. Nothing like a home-cooked meal with my kids. Ethan, you and your brother go get groceries, okay? Ethan had barely recovered from his accident. He tried to fake a smile. Yeah, sure, Mom. But I wasn't about to let him squirm out of it. Come on, honey, I said cheerfully. Work isn't more important than your mom, right? His older brother Nathan chimed in. Exactly. It's her birthday, not a quarterly report. So Ethan had no choice but to drag his sore, humiliated body out the door with Nathan, who ended up driving, because Ethan could barely sit straight. Nathan's driving was terrifying on a good day. He braked hard, accelerated harder, and treated every red light like a personal challenge. By the time they got back, Ethan looked like he was going to throw up. He was drenched in sweat and walking bow-legged. I smiled. Sweet as syrup. Oh, honey, I said. Can you grab me that little footstool from the den? He winced as he bent over. His knees buckled, and he nearly dropped the thing. I need the bathroom, he gasped and hobbled off. Blood had already begun seeping through his jeans. Perfect. Now it was time for phase 2. Madeline was next. She'd been laying low since the glue incident, barely leaving her bedroom. But with Mom's birthday dinner on the line, I made sure she got roped in. Mrs. Walker, I said to Ethan's mom, I'd love to cook dinner myself, but the doctor said I'm still recovering and need to take it easy. Maybe Madeline could help? His mom turned without hesitation. Of course. Madeline, go start prepping. You're always saying how good your pasta is. Madeline flinched. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her face was pale, and she winced just standing. Maybe Ava could do it with me. Nonsense, Mom interrupted. She needs to rest. You're fine. Get to it. I followed her into the kitchen, playing the perfect helper, all smiles and chirps of, oh no, did I bump you? Sorry, I'm just so clumsy lately. Every accident hit her exactly where I wanted. Her hip, her back, and once, very precisely, right on her ass. She let out a strangled scream when I accidentally leaned into her from behind while reaching for the salt. Nathan came rushing in. What the hell happened? I looked guilty and sweet. I slipped and bumped into her. I didn't mean to. Madeline was trembling. It's fine. It's nothing. Nathan eyed her suspiciously. You sure? She forced a smile. Positive? Back at the dinner table, I made sure to serve up double helpings of extra spicy buffalo chicken and hot seafood stew. Ethan, Madeline, you two hardly ate anything earlier. Here, you need this protein. Both of them looked green. Ethan forced a bite. Madeline looked like she might pass out. Oh! I said suddenly. Did you guys hear? A couple got caught having sex in the office bathroom downtown. Glued together. Had to be wheeled into the ER naked. Can you imagine? Everyone went silent. I let it sit for a beat. Then I leaned toward Ethan with a curious smile. They say it happened in the 4th floor restroom of your company's building. Sound familiar? Ethan's fork clattered onto the table. His face turned sheet white. Madeline choked on her water. What a sick story, she stammered. Nathan scoffed. Probably two trashy nobodies sneaking around behind their spouses. If I ever caught my wife doing something like that, I'd make damn sure she'd never walk again. Madeline froze. Ethan's hands were shaking. I haven't heard anything about it. I gave him a knowing smile. What a shame. I thought maybe you had the inside scoop. Nathan snorted. Idiots. Probably cheating office rats. They deserve whatever pain they got. Madeline dropped her fork. I smiled wider. You haven't felt pain yet, sweetheart. But it's coming. Chapter 4. The Truth Beneath the Surface. After dinner, while Ethan lay curled on the couch pretending to nap off the spicy food, and Madeline holed up in the guest room. Not feeling well, I slipped into the home office and made a call to a private investigator I'd hired 2 days ago. You were right, he said. They've got a history. I leaned forward. Go on. Madeline Carter wasn't just your sister-in-law. She was Ethan's college girlfriend. I froze. He told you he never dated before you, right? My mouth went dry. Yeah. Well, they dated for over 2 years in undergrad. Messy breakup. No official reason listed, but rumor was he tried proposing. She ghosted him after that. No contact for almost a decade. Then she shows up again, married to his older brother. I closed my eyes, the pieces finally clicking. The way Ethan had glared at Madeline the first time she came to a family gathering. The way he refused to talk to her, refused to even look at her. Everyone thought he hated her. Turns out, he couldn't stand being near her because he'd never gotten over her. And now that she was part of the family, just an arm's reach away, he couldn't help himself. I thanked the PI and hung up. Suddenly, Ethan's strange coldness to Madeline made perfect sense. The way he never showed up to family events if she was hosting. The way he always made me be the go-between when something needed to be relayed to her. At the time, I thought it was awkward tension. Maybe she'd said something to insult him. I was wrong. It was all buried lust, guilt, desire, rage. I thought I'd married a stable, selfless man. But I married someone who spent 10 years nursing a fantasy, and the moment she re-entered his life, he tossed me aside like backup furniture. I spent the next day digging deeper. Message threads, photos, old emails. I even found a Dropbox folder Ethan had tried to delete, but forgot to clear from the trash. Inside? Screenshots. A saved photo of Madeline in college. Selfies. A scanned copy of a ticket from a concert they saw in 2012. Receipts from a hotel dated before the glue incident. He'd been meeting her long before I found that condom. That night, I sat at the edge of the bed while he snored behind me. My hands were calm. My heart wasn't. Because now, it wasn't just about betrayal. It was about replacement. I looked like her. Everyone had always said so. And Ethan, he'd married me because I was the closest thing he could have. Not the woman he loved. Just a stand-in. Just a goddamn look-alike. And suddenly, it wasn't enough to expose him. I wanted to ruin them both. Chapter 5. Slow Burn. The next morning, I woke up early. Not because I couldn't sleep, but because I had a plan. I walked into the kitchen, humming softly, already dressed and made up. Ethan limped in 20 minutes later, wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, clearly still sore and haunted. Morning, babe, I chirped, placing a bowl of chili-laced instant noodles on the table. Your favorite. Extra spicy. He blinked at it, then at me, hesitating. Thanks, but I don't think my stomach... I tilted my head, still smiling. Are you saying you don't like what I made? He flinched. No. I'll eat it. Good boy. He sat down and started forcing it down one painful mouthful at a time. By the time I finished my toast, sweat was beading down his forehead and his hands were trembling around the chopsticks. That was just the appetizer. That afternoon, I knocked on Madeline's door. She opened it slowly, face pale, wearing oversized sunglasses indoors. Ready for your walk? I said, all smiles. You promised you'd help me stay active during recovery, remember? She blinked. Ava, I really don't feel up to it today. I let out a dramatic sigh. So you're saying you'd let a recovering surgical patient walk alone? My doctor said I need support. She hesitated. I leaned in, loud enough for my mother-in-law to overhear from the living room. Unless you're avoiding me for some reason? In under 10 seconds, Mom Walker came around the corner. Madeline, that doesn't sound like you. Go help your sister-in-law. Madeline gave me a murderous glare, but she didn't argue. We walked laps around the neighborhood, slow, deliberate ones. I made sure to take the hilliest route, even pretended to get dizzy and lean on her. Every time I accidentally lost balance, I let my elbow or shoulder dig into one of her bruised spots. By the end of it, she was practically limping back home. Oh, I said sweetly as we reached the door. Thanks for being such a good sister. She didn't answer. Just hobbled inside and slammed her door shut. That night, I set the table for dinner. Buffalo wings, Cajun shrimp, pepper jack mac and cheese, extra hot. Dinner's ready, I called out. Ethan appeared first, eyes widening when he saw the mountain of red and orange on the table. Babe, is that all your favorites? I said brightly. You work so hard. I wanted to treat you. He sat down slowly, clearly terrified. I loaded his plate with wings and shrimp. Eat up, love. Madeline joined a few minutes later, walking stiffly. I gave her a generous serving, too. Nathan raised his eyebrows. Damn, Ava, this looks intense. Not too much for you? I asked sweetly. I can handle heat, he said proudly, digging in. Perfect. I wasn't here to punish Nathan. Halfway through the meal, Ethan and Madeline were both sweating bullets. Ethan had taken off his hoodie. Madeline had gone pale again. My in-laws, happily unaware, kept chatting about how nice it was to have a home-cooked meal again. Then I casually dropped the bomb. Did you guys hear? Some people saw a couple get wheeled into the ER the other night. Naked. Glued together. The whole table paused. What? Nathan asked, blinking. I sipped my water. Yep. Apparently they were, doing stuff in a public bathroom. But the guy used some knockoff lube he ordered online, and it turned out to be super glue. Madeline's fork froze midair. Ethan coughed violently, reaching for water. Mom Walker gasped. That can't be real. Oh, it's real, I said, keeping my tone light. A friend of mine works in the ER, said they were stuck for hours. Had to call hazmat. Can you imagine? Nathan burst out laughing. What kind of idiots? Wow. I turned to Ethan and winked. Imagine having to explain that to your wife. Ethan dropped his glass. It shattered. Oh no, I said sweetly. Are you okay? He nodded silently, already reaching for a napkin. I leaned closer and whispered in his ear, low and dangerous. This is just the beginning. He didn't say a word. But the terror in his eyes? That was exactly what I wanted. Chapter 6. Pressure cracks. 3 days. That's how long it took before both Ethan and Madeline started unraveling. Ethan barely left our bedroom. Every time he moved, he walked like someone had taken a baseball bat to his lower half. Madeline had gone full recluse, no morning jogs, no social media posts, and no eye contact. Perfect! But I wasn't done yet. That Friday, I accidentally left Ethan's laptop open on the kitchen table, with a Chrome tab open to Facebook Messenger. And I just so happened to be on a call with my best friend when Madeline walked in. Hey, Clara, I said, loud enough for Madeline to hear. Yeah, I saw those screenshots. The ones from Ethan's Facebook. Can you believe what he wrote? I didn't even know men said that kind of stuff out loud, let alone typed it. Madeline froze like she'd been electrocuted. I turned away from her and kept going. No, I'm not mad. I just feel dirty. Like, wow, all those late nights at work, he was getting pegged in a bathroom stall by his brother's wife. Madeline dropped the glass she was holding. It shattered across the floor. I turned around, feigning surprise. Oh my God, are you okay? She didn't answer. Just grabbed a broom and swept frantically, eyes red, movements jerky. I lowered my voice into the phone. Anyway, I'll send you the video later. Yeah, it's clear as day. Faces, voices, everything. Madeline stopped sweeping. She was shaking. That night, she didn't come down for dinner. The next morning, I knocked on Ethan's door. He was lying on the floor next to the bed like a corpse. Hey, babe, I said cheerfully. I need you to drive me to the pharmacy. I'm still on post-op meds, remember? He looked up at me with bloodshot eyes. I don't think I can sit. I frowned, tilting my head. You promised you'd take care of me while I recover. Or was that just something you said before you decided to cheat on me? His face twisted. Ava, please. No, I said flatly. Get the keys. He winced but obeyed. We drove in silence. I didn't need to say anything. Every bump in the road was already saying it for me. On the way back, we passed a roadside church sign that read, Confess your sins or karma will... I didn't plan it. But it was poetic. He stared at it like it had punched him in the throat. Later that evening, Nathan came home early from work. I was sitting with my in-laws, sipping tea, when he walked in looking tense. "Where's Madeline?" he asked. "She's upstairs," I said, casually. "Has she been sick or something? She won't answer my texts. And I tried to hug her this morning, and she flinched like I hit her." Mom Walker looked up sharply. "What?" I kept my voice soft. "She hasn't been herself lately. Maybe she's just overwhelmed." Nathan's eyes narrowed. "Ava, is there something going on?" I gave him a long look. "You might want to check the footage from the office security camera. 4th floor, restroom hallway. Last Friday." His mouth opened, then shut. The silence between us was louder than any scream. Upstairs, a door slammed. Nathan stood. "Excuse me." I didn't stop him. Because it was time. 10 minutes later, I heard shouting. Then glass breaking. Then a sound like someone sobbing. Nathan's voice thundered through the floorboards. "How long has this been going on?" I sipped my tea. Mom Walker looked panicked. "What in God's name is going on up there?" I set my cup down. "You might want to sit down." Chapter 7. Shattered Glass and Open Secrets. The house felt like it was holding its breath. Nathan's shouts echoed down the staircase like a storm brewing overhead. His voice was hoarse, half disbelief, half rage. Mom Walker had gone stiff beside me on the couch. Her teacup trembled in her hand. Then came a scream. Madeline's. High-pitched, gut-wrenching. Not theatrical. Real. And then, silence. I rose slowly, deliberately, and made my way upstairs. As I approached the guest room door, I could hear Nathan pacing inside, his boots stomping back and forth like thunder. Madeline was sobbing in the corner. Her voice was muffled, but I caught one word over and over again. "Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry." I knocked once. The door creaked open. Nathan turned toward me, eyes wild, holding Ethan's discarded hoodie in one fist like it was soaked in gasoline. He looked like he wanted to burn something. Or someone. "What the hell is this?" he demanded, shoving a phone into my hands. The screen was paused on a grainy security video, time-stamped, crystal clear, 4th floor office bathroom. 2 figures. One tall, one slender. Both very, very naked. Stuck together. He didn't need to say the names. I just nodded. Madeline curled further into herself, gripping a blanket over her legs. Her mascara had melted halfway down her cheeks. "Nathan, I never meant for it to happen." "Don't," he barked, voice cracking. "Don't you dare give me the it just happened bullshit." He spun to me, seething. "And you knew?" I met his gaze calmly. "Yes." "For how long?" "Long enough," I said. "Since the condom in Ethan's jeans. Since the fake overtime shifts. Since the glue." Nathan blinked. "The glue?" I gave a thin smile. "You didn't hear about the emergency room visit?" Madeline whimpered. "Ava, please." "No," I said, turning sharply toward her. "No more begging. You had every chance to back off. Every chance to keep your legs closed. But you couldn't help yourself, could you?" She opened her mouth to speak, but Nathan cut her off. Save it." He turned to me, something unreadable behind his eyes. "And Ethan?" "In the bedroom. Hiding like a rat." Nathan stormed down the hallway. I didn't follow, but I didn't leave either. There was a crash from the master bedroom. Then something heavy hitting the floor. Ethan's voice, "Bro, please, please." Nathan's voice, "You were my king brother." More struggling. A thud. I didn't move. Didn't flinch. Mom Walker eventually crept up the stairs, wide-eyed. "What's going on? What is all this yelling?" I turned to her gently. "Your sons, and your daughter-in-law, having a family meeting." She blinked, confused. "What? Why would Ethan and Madeline be—" I cut her off. "In the company bathroom. Glued together. That's what the shouting's about." She gasped, one hand flying to her mouth. That's not true." But it was. And by the next morning, everyone in the family, and half the town, would know too. Because the video? I'd already sent it anonymously to a gossip forum that specialized in local scandals. By sunrise, it was trending. #, bathroom affair. Caption, "She wasn't his wife, but she was his brother's." Chapter 8. The funeral before the divorce. By the time the sun rose, the damage was done. The video had gone viral. Within hours, it was everywhere. Reddit, Twitter, even TikTok. The security footage had been edited with slow-mo and dramatic music. Ethan and Madeline were instantly infamous. The comments were ruthless. "Corporate glue play? That's a new low. Imagine cheating on your wife and your brother. This dude's unlocked a new level of hell. The trauma of being physically stuck to your sister-in-law mid-thrust. I'd change my name and flee the country. Mom Walker cried for 2 days straight. Not because she pitied me, but because her social circle at church now knew her family drama had more spice than the Sunday potluck. Ethan? He didn't leave the bedroom. Not once. Not even for food. Just stayed curled up in bed, pale, broken, paranoid. Every time a phone rang in the house, he flinched like it was a death sentence. Madeline had it worse. Her own family disowned her. Nathan filed for divorce the moment he saw the video and threw her clothes into trash bags on the front lawn. She begged him to forgive her. He slammed the door in her face. And I packed my bags. Not in a fit of rage, not screaming or crying. Just calmly, methodically, like someone clocking out of a job after finishing the last day of work. Ethan found me by the front door, suitcase in hand. His face was a ghost. Lips cracked. Eyes bloodshot. "Ava," he rasped. "Please, don't leave me. I need you. I'm sorry." I turned to him, tilting my head. "Leave you?" I echoed. "Ethan, I'm not leaving." His eyes brightened slightly. "You're not?" I stepped closer, leaned in, and whispered into his ear. "I'm letting you rot." He blinked, and I walked out the door. I didn't look back. Epilogue. Ethan never recovered. He was fired within the month. His name became a punchline. Every time someone at a local bar joked about office sex, someone else inevitably replied, "Yeah, but at least I wasn't glued to my brother's wife." He moved in with his parents after foreclosure hit. Madeline lasted 3 more months before quietly vanishing to some Midwestern town where no one knew her name. Nathan started therapy and eventually remarried. And me? I got a new apartment downtown, a new wardrobe, a new life. And one morning, as I stood in the kitchen pouring my coffee, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Ethan, I still love you. I think about you every day. Please answer. Please." I didn't respond, but I did smile. Because what I wanted was never a divorce. What I wanted was a funeral. And I got it. The end. Subscribe for more shocking stories. Updates every day.